What did you consume yesterday? Not food, information. How many texts did you scroll? How many videos did you half watch? And how much static and noise and garbage did you let into your brain? Thoreau called this chapter reading. Today we call it media diet. It's the same thing, separated by 2 centuries. 4 years ago, an injury changed everything for me. I had to make a lot of changes in my life, suddenly. And when I got off the hamster wheel and took a look around, I realized I don't want to keep doing this. I need to make some changes in my life. And I did that. And in doing so, I rediscovered Thoreau's Walden, a 180-year-old blueprint that showed how you could live simply. So I adapted it and adopted the lessons into my 2025 experiment of living in South America. This is part of the Living Walden series where I unpack those lessons and some of those insights, today media diet, to show you some of the things that I took from the book, how I applied them to my life, and how you could do the same. But the lessons I'll talk about today are available. You choose which ones are applicable to you and how deep you want to go on them. And the more you experiment, the more you'll see how they can add depth, meaning, and fulfillment to your life. Last month, in episode 3, we talked about where you live shapes how you live. This month, what you consume shapes what you create. Steve here, Street Smart Travel, back up in Canada for a brief visit. And today, this is episode number 4 in the ongoing Living Walden series. Today, we talk about media diet. In his time, it was a much simpler thing. Today, there's a lot of other things vying for your attention. The principle is the same, the context is a little bit different, and the methods are definitely a lot different. I'll call back to the challenge from last month. Clear off one surface in your house. It could be a workshop, it could be your kitchen table, it could be anything you want, and keep that clear. That was the easy mode. Step 2, if you wanted the more advanced version, was take a look at clearing all the stuff you don't need out of one room in your house. Put it in the closet and see if at the end of that month you missed any of it at all. And if you didn't, you could get rid of it. Now today, instead of the physical space, we're looking at how does your media diet, all the stuff you consume, the information you consume, how does that affect your life? And ways that you can modify that and take more control of it, as opposed to being a hamster on a wheel searching for your next dopamine hit. Thoreau had 2 chapters he talked about. One was reading, and he distinguished between reading classics like Homer, the Iliad, the Bible, things like that, versus reading the newspaper or listening to gossip in town. And as you can imagine, he had no time for that, which is why he went to Walden in the first place, so he could focus on reading classics, on immersing himself in things that were really important to him. Now, a couple quotes from Thoreau: read the best books first, or you may not have a chance to read them at all. So pick what you want to read. It could be a genre, it could be an author, it could be anything you want. You choose what it is, and then start getting resources together that teach you those things in depth. Not the 10-second AI summary. Go through the actual resource. There's a lot of information in classic books that you can't get any other way. You're not being taught that today in schools. You don't really experience that stuff day to day in your life. But by reading these books, you can unlock literally wisdom of the ages. And there's some timeless lessons in some of these books. You choose. Always comes down to what's important to you. You pick it, and then go deep. Now, Thoreau also said, how many a man has dated a new era in his life from the reading of a book? There's been books that I read that literally to this day have impacted me and continue to impact me. The way that I think, the skills that I have, the way that I live my life. Very different after getting that information than it was before. And I wasn't going to find it any other way. We're drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. That's a huge difference, and that was a big part of his experiment at Walden. And most people, he said, read trash and wonder why their thinking is shallow. He also has a chapter on sounds. So after reading, he would listen to the pond, to the train whistle, to the animals, to the sounds in his environment. But he used those sounds as a way to anchor him in the present moment, to get more in touch with what was important, what's really going on right now, not get distracted. We have way more noise today than he did 180 years ago, so it's a lot easier to get distracted. It's very hard to find quiet places where you can just be in nature, but I seek those out all the time. I'm at one now, it's remarkably quiet. I'm here at Del Prairie Park in Peterborough. It's the best place I could find to film today, unfortunately. It's been pretty quiet. So ask yourself, what ambient noise, what static and noise are you letting into your life today? How could you minimize or eliminate it? Thoreau controlled what he read. He couldn't control all the sounds, but he chose his environment to eliminate and minimize unwanted inputs. That's the whole point of the media diet. You choose what you want to focus on and do the best you can to minimize and or eliminate the stuff that gets in the way. Your mind is shaped by what you put into it. Garbage in, garbage out. Quality in, quality out. You're in control of that. It was really hard with all the social media apps and everything else, radio, TV, all kinds of things coming at you all the time, all day, every day. They are there, in my view, as tools. I use them. They don't tell me how I use them. I decide what to do, what I want to consume, and then I turn them off and walk away from them. It's very easy to end up in comment sections or follow the algorithm or watch endless playlists that are constantly being fed to you, not because you chose them, but because something else is deciding, yeah, you should watch this, you'd like this, here's a dopamine hit for this to reward you for watching this thing. I don't do those things. I use socials to keep in touch with people that are important to me and to find out what they're doing in their life. So I won't open an app, whatever it is, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, anything, unless I'm going there for a specific purpose. For example, maybe I've got a friend whose kid just graduated university, or maybe they're celebrating a life event, like a wedding anniversary. And I'll go on, type something, hey, great to see you, congratulations on this accomplishment, whatever it is, and then move on. But I'm not spending hours on there getting sucked into the algorithm or into the comment section having arguments about things that don't matter with things that might not even be other people, trying to convince me that I should emotionalize things and get angry about stuff. It's a waste of time. Something else I do, I really control my media diet in terms of if I have an interest, and I do, in investing or geopolitics, for example, I will find reliable sources of information and subscribe to newsletters. I will pay for that information that is unbiased and that is very useful and actionable. And then I will use my brain and critical thinking to figure out what's my next action. What do I do with this information? All of these socials, they're all tools, and they can be used in very specific ways to benefit you. You have to be able to extricate yourself from them once you go in and get what it is that you were looking for. If you're looking at it as a form of entertainment, you are going to lose hours and hours a day and hundreds of hours over years, thousands of hours over years that you could have spent getting skills together, learning a different language, learning how to play a musical instrument, spending more time with people as opposed to staring at your screen. Your call, it's your life. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you this is what I do with these things. I use them as tools to my ends, and when I get what I need, I shut them down and move on with my life. I'll delete apps from my phone so that I can't access them easily. I'll have to go to a desktop site. And in that case, it's going to be an extra step. I'm not going to bother. I'm making it difficult to access what would normally be very simple. I'll set a specific time for checking socials or for checking whatever it happens to be. It's never first thing in the morning and it's never last thing at night. And I'll focus on one platform at a time. I'll go on LinkedIn, look up a couple friends, a couple creators. Okay, this is interesting, that's important. And then that's it, shut it down, I'm done. And definitely no passive scrolling. Don't get sucked into these algorithms and these endless playlists. If there's something that I went online to watch, and YouTube's a great example, hey, I want to find out more about this specific thing. Here's 3 videos I'm going to watch right now. That'll inform my thinking. Do I want to pursue more information down this same path, or is that enough for me? Be very deliberate and very specific about how and when you choose to use social media, TV, radio, any kind of information source in your life. If I can't name why I'm opening the app before I'm going on it, I don't open it. If I don't have a specific reason for going on to Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, I won't open it. It's like, why am I going to do that? I'm just going to waste time. Forget it. If I have a specific thing I'm going there for, that's a different thing. Okay, yes, now I'll open it, do that specific task, and get off. Another test is, if I watch or listen to this thing, is it going to take me closer to where I want to go or further away from where I want to go? You wouldn't eat garbage, junk food, all day and expect to feel good in the evening. So why is it a reasonable expectation to assume you can consume a bunch of garbage content and not have your brain feeling empty and rotted at the end of the day and incapable of thinking or doing anything of any value? Garbage in, garbage out. Now Thoreau, for his part, he chose classics. He studied languages. He also avoided newspaper and gossip. He said the newspapers were mostly gossip. He listened to nature instead of town noise. And he had a quote that said, "Read not the times, read the eternities," or the classics. So don't read newspapers, New York Times, Washington Times, whatever times. Focus on books and resources of depth and meaning that are going to give you lessons that you can use for the rest of your life. What I tend to focus on is books over articles. If there's something I'm interested in, I want to go deep. I don't want the surface level. That's not useful to me. That might be the bridge to get me into the topic, but then once I get there, who's the author, or who are the authors that are really well known for this? Who does the best work in this field? And then I'll immerse myself in that content. I like long form over short form. And again, the short form sometimes is a good bridge to get into the longer form. But I would rather listen to an audiobook. I just finished listening to one that somebody turned me on to recently, 37 hours. I'm on my second go through. I like primary sources over summaries. So again, with the AI summary, I can go on to ChatGPT or name your AI and just, give me a summary of whatever. And it'll do it, but you won't have anything to attach that to. There's no context surrounding it. They'll give you the highlights, but you're not going to get the real lessons, the gems that are contained in those works. And I like practical over theoretical. If there's something I want to do, I want to find the person who has done it successfully and who can teach me how to do that same thing successfully. The news. I don't trust legacy media at all. I have subscriptions to news sources that are about very specific things, geopolitics, investing, stuff like that, that I'm happy to pay for because it gives me information that I know is accurate and actionable. I avoid hot takes and opinions and editorials and things where people are ranting and raving, and especially if they're emotionalizing things, not useful. Give me facts, give me logic, give me reason. Any content that emotionalizes things and makes people scared or anxious or angry, things like that. Because when emotion goes up, intelligence goes down. Every single time. No exception to that. Every time before I consume something, I ask myself a simple question. Will this help me live more deliberately? Most things don't pass that test. And if they don't, I don't go any further. Or a simpler test, is this taking me closer to or further away from where I want to go in my life? Now, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. Please do like, subscribe, drop any comments. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Again, this is episode 4 in an ongoing series of Living Walden, taking Thoreau's Walden and applying it to modern day contexts. If your mind is shaped by what you consume, and it is, then what are you building? What are you putting into your mind to be the foundation for the things that you want to build in your life? Look at your screen time from last week, and then look at your reading time. What does that tell you about where your priorities are? Did you spend more time pursuing skills that are important to you, or more time mindlessly staring at a screen and scrolling through a bunch of nonsense? Both of those things have predictable outcomes. It's up to you to control your attention and your time and be disciplined to use those tools to get you to where you want to go. Now, the challenge for this month, level 1, grandma friendly. Pick one information source and cut it for 30 days. That could be the morning news, It could be one social media app, could be sports highlights. Now replace that with nothing. So eliminate that from your life and just sit in that time. If it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes in the morning, just sit there and think about, wow, this is the time I would normally be consuming this thing, and I would already be thinking in this way because it's shaping where it wants your attention to go and the thoughts that are in your head. So without that influence, without that input, now you have control over your thoughts. You can think about, what do I want to do today? What's important to me? What am I going to have accomplished by the end of today? As opposed to mindlessly watching a screen. Now, level 2, standard. Full social media fast for 30 days. So delete the apps from your phone. Make it so that if you want to access them, you have to go to a desktop and do it that way. And if you need this for work, that's a different thing. Use it for work, but then nothing else. No mindless scrolling, no nonsense, no time wasting. Now replace that time that you would spend online scrolling mindlessly with a reading list. Pick a book. For me, it's audiobooks, to be fair. I'm on the road a lot. I've got hundreds of books, but I'm not carrying them with me where I go. Ebooks are okay, but I prefer audiobooks because I can be doing other things. I can be volunteering, working on farms, and still absorbing content that I have chosen that's important to me, and I can listen to it over and over and over again and reinforce it. And this doesn't have to cost you money, by the way. You can find stuff on YouTube for free. If you are in a city that has a library, you have access to that for free. Ebooks, audiobooks, regular books, streaming services, magazines, periodicals, everything is available at the library. Focus on what's important to you. Don't get sucked into what an algorithm is trying to tell you you should be focusing your attention on. So of those 2 challenges, grandma friendly and the regular, or the hard version, pick your tier. You choose how hard you want to go after it. You can adjust it and adapt it however you wish. The idea is to spend less time chasing algorithms, scrolling, getting stuck in comment sections, getting rage baited into all kinds of nonsense, and focus more of your time and attention on things that are important to you. That's what Thoreau did 180 years ago. He didn't have to contend with anything online. There was no social media. But he still found the noise in Concord to be too much for him. So he found and created an environment that worked better for him, and you can do the same today. If you replace social media with books, you're going to find a huge difference in a short period of time in your life that will compound over time as you continue those things. I've learned all kinds of stuff from books, audiobooks, etc., that have been immediately applicable in my life. I put them to use, and then I reap the benefits forever. You need to learn the thing once, and once you have the information and develop the skill, that's yours forever. Looking ahead to part 5 next month, Solitude and Visitors, the balance. Now, Thoreau said, I never found the companion that was so companionable as solitude. But he also welcomed visitors, and he managed to find that balance. Any questions or comments, please drop them below. Happy to answer anything that I can. So until next time, live deliberately. See you next month.